Howdy. It's a Rodfather 916, reviewing Married2Medicine Season 8 Reunion Part 3. The evening began with the men out from last Sunday. The topic, Scott's life coach. Does he or she exist? Doesn't she exist? Doesn't she exist? Scott attempted double talk started to fall on deaf ears. It was one of those lies that people tell that they're not quite ready to give up because they'll have to admit they were lying. So Scott held on to this lie. Even backstage, he held on to this lie. Now, there was a moment where I thought he was going to blame Dr. Contessa. Well, she knew I was lying, so I guess it doesn't make the lie that much of a lie because she knew I was lying at this time. The problem with that type of lie is the longer you hold on to it, the worse you look. And Scott is not a stupid man. Stupid man. Or maybe he is. Because the men had his back, but they were still, all of them, they weren't clear because the story didn't make sense. And as my good friend in my head, Judge Judy, would say, if it doesn't make sense, it's probably not true. But you know what? We're there for our brother. You know what I'm saying? So they were there. But throughout the evening, as the evening progressed, it got worse. Because we learned the reason the men stormed out last week is because they thought that Quad was telling, for the first time in the history of the world, that Scott and Dr. Contessa was getting a divorce. And so they thought he was being blindsided, like, no, man, don't do that. But then they learned Scott knew about it months ago. Months ago. In fact, Contessa put the house up for sale. The men are looking stupid. It makes me think back in the day where, when I was in college, we had, I don't think he's with us anymore, but I'm going to call him, no, I'm not going to say his name, but we used to have his back no matter what. I was young and stupid, a little brighter today, but young and stupid. And he would tell these horribly concocted lies that a 3-year-old would go, he's lying, and we would back him up. And then after a couple of drinks, he would admit it, making us all look like stupid. And this kept going on for a couple of times until we said, sayonara, brother. Ciao. Ciao. No. We see you when you see you. What club we going tonight? We haven't really decided, but you know what? My car broke down. I'm taking a bus there. We just had to let him go. And I kind of felt for the men tonight. And, the thing tonight was funny. If you, I'm on Twitter, you guys, Rodfather 916. So I listen to the tweets, and tonight, Dr. Karen brought it. He was bringing the truth. There was no looking. He was like, basically, dude, I'm confused. And it's quite possibly you're full of shit. But as the night progressed, we reviewed the season. This is part 3. They go over seasons. Black Lives Matter, Sharpton, the whole 9 yards. But what we didn't see was an insight of what the actual doctors experience. We see a surface part, but not the inner workings. And Eugene was particularly moving tonight when he described working in the emergency, working the ER, and having to deal with death on a scale he's never seen before. In fact, all the doctors who worked in the hospital agreed this is death they hadn't seen in this scale before. And he talked about a woman who I guess crashed, and he jumped on the gurney where she was and trying to save her. Unfortunately, he wasn't successful. But at one point, his protective gear was coming up. And we learned that he lives with the stress, a daily stress of worried about bringing that disease home to his family. This is something we don't see, and something we don't hear from Curtis. And it was quite emotional. I mean, to imagine there are probably thousands of doctors with families and friends and lovers that they worry about coming home and possibly infecting their loved ones. You know, Dr. Jackie talked about, mothers not able to touch their newborns. Dr. Kieran spoke about, he's buying a house double what it cost. And because of the nature of his work, he's not bringing any income. Imagine that. Imagine that. So, I'm not going to go into everything about what happened in the show. Who's the messiest person on the show? Say it with me. Heavenly. And, this show dissolved into bits of the quad and the Toya and whose house and who's got financing and the FICO scores. Wake me up, here. Wake me when it's done. And while there's one more Dr. Scott story I got, and I ain't got no more, I promise. That's Dr. Scott got a picture of the woman who gave a facial. I said earlier, is the boy stupid? Is he touched? I was married. They all shaking their head, all the men. Like I said, he may have lost the men tonight. Because, dude, you've been married 16 years and you're not 17. You gonna carry a woman's picture in your phone for your wife to one day go, who's this? Nobody. What? You don't have those pictures in your, even if you're dating, you don't have the pictures. Get another phone. No. I didn't mean that. Anyway, home cheese, is you just slow? His Velveeta doesn't melt. I'm trying to tell you, the boy is something else. Relationships got some working on. Toya said that she wished the women would get back and meeting and hanging out like they did and hanging out off camera as they do, which is nice to hear because most of these are TV only friendships, see you next season. But these women and men hang out with each other, seem to hang out with each other year round. There's some repairing to do, Dr. Jackie, Dr. Simone, Dr. Jackie, Dr. Simone, and Heavenly. Heavenly's got to choose a lane. I said that last week. I got to hustle. This is my new hustle. Subscribers want it. But you can't talk about your castmates who are your friends in the morning and expect them to be all right in the evening. That's just not going to work. Dr. Heavenly, there are all these other shows you can review. Don't review your show with your castmates. I'm telling you, you don't know me, but call and talk Rottweiler 916. Let me help you. You know Funky Dineva. You know all these people. Let us help you. In the immortal words of Olympia Dukakis in Moonstruck, you don't shit where you eat. And that's exactly what you're doing when you review and talk about your castmates. You know, you're a bright woman. Come on now. Clean my teeth. But anyway, Married to Medicine. Season 8 was okay. It was basically this Dr. Scott and Dr. Contessa show. Wasn't much there. I believe the new spark is going to be with Anila and her family. I was disappointed that they brought Scott Quad back, but I actually enjoyed Quad, and Quad was the MVP last Sunday night. And bravo, if you need a backup for Andy, Quad is your woman. Carrie was all right, but Lisa Nicole, leave her. Please, leave her. With her business of doing, you know, the woman who sews, doing COVID tests. I can't wrap my head around that. Hi, do you like this fashion? Do you want a COVID test? You know, they don't do that at JCPenney's. You have to go to a COVID place or buy your clothes. You can't do both, but in Lisa Nicole's world, I guess you can. And then people aren't getting their results. Bye, Lisa Nicole. Have a nice life. Sell a dress. You're doing all right. You don't need this show. I'm sorry. Just while we're feeding you, we're gonna put this thing up your nose, and you'll get the results sometime before 2028. Anyway, Rodfather being silly. Wishing you love, joy, and happiness. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, do it right now. I need you. I'm glad for the growth on Instagram. TikTok seems to be a hit, but I need you here on YouTube. Tell a friend. Tell several friends. Wishing you love, joy, and happiness. Please wear a mask. COVID is not done. We don't want the fall of 2021 to look anything like 2020, because in the summer we forget. It's nice outside, it's warm outside, who needs a mask? We lost a lot of people here. I hope to see you later, so please wear a mask. It doesn't hurt, and it doesn't care what your political background is. Bye now.